Hi, it's Veronica with the Crafty Ladder. So we are painting the different sets inside of the Apothecary Cabinet home collection. We just did a video for the individual letters that spell home. So the color palette that I went with is white for the base coat and then accents with the black and brown. Now I'd like to go ahead and move on to the candles in the home set. I'm going to move these off. And so there is a lavender candle, a vanilla candle, and a sage candle. So I'm wanting to accent the white, the brown, and the black with muted tones of blue, purple, and a green, like a sage green. So we're going to work on that. First thing I need to do is go ahead and let me get these little guys off of there. The first thing I need to do is give these a little bit of cleaning because they do have a little bit of char from the laser process. So I don't know if you could tell. Oh yeah, you can tell. That happens sometimes. I think you have to have the settings dialed in on your machine so that you don't have a lot of char, which I tend to do. But I do think that sometimes there's variations in the wood, and sometimes you get a really clean, nice clean cut, and sometimes you don't. And you can see all of that junk that got picked up. It's just the soot from the machine, and it just makes it a little cleaner. The paint will cover that up, but you don't necessarily want the char to mix in with the paint. So okay, let's go ahead and start with the sage. Now, one of the first things that I want to do is give these a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the dryer to get some of that moisture off, just real quick. Dokie. I want to go ahead and do this sage one first. I don't know, I was looking forward to doing this one, so let's go ahead and start with that one. I want to go ahead and outline this score line right here because I want to make sure. My intention is to leave these areas here white, so as if the candle is inside, but I do want to outline the area that's going to get, you can see there's some bleed. Now I like to use a Crayola marker. These are just regular Crayola markers that you pick up, during back to school time for your kiddos. The reason I like to use these is because the fine point on it, and of course they last forever. So it's got a fine point. You could use a watercolor pencil, anything to give you a line so that you don't pass that area. Now what'll happen is that since they're water-based, just like acrylic paints, you're not going to have the issue of having to worry that it's a permanent fix or anything. So if you'll see, come in with the wipey. And we can get some of that to come off if we need to. Not all of it, but you're going to get some of that off. And it'll blend into the acrylic paint that you put on there. Now what I'm finding is that because I didn't base coat this, I should have. That's what my intention was first. I should have done that first. It's a little bit trickier to get that marker off of there because it has seeped into the wood. But it's okay, it's no big deal. since it's a water-based marker, that will just blend in with the paint that we're using, and it's going to look like shading, so it's no biggie. All right, but a lot of times this will wipe off, because if you've got the base coat on there. We'll try it with the next just so that you can see what I mean. So one thing that I am doing is I'm going to use glaze on this. I'm going to base coat it with, I've got this mix right here. And what this is a satin glazing liquid. And it's from Golden. I really love, these are a professional brand of paint manufacturer. And they've got all kinds of mediums that you can use for painting. And so I want to go ahead and use glaze so that I have a more thin, translucent, transparent shade of paint. And what I'm using in this, the paint that I'm using, is just an apple barrel. It's a warm buff, and you can see, I hope, that there is a difference in the color. This one is more opaque. And so if I were to cover this, if I were to use this straight out of the bottle like this, I would cover the score line and I would cover the lettering on the candle. But because I'm going to use glaze, it's going to thin out the paint and it's going to give me more of a sheen, so that, you'll see, let's go ahead and use it, so that I don't have to worry about covering up those score lines. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shake. And this is my first time painting the candles, so I don't know how much paint I'm going to need. Likely won't be very much. And you can see I'm going to go right over the letters. Doesn't look like there's even any paint, because it so matches the birch. This is Baltic birch that I'm using. And I like to use this technique because I don't want to worry about having to cover and clean out those score lines. Okay, I'm going to do that for all the pieces. They're going to be different colors, but the base coat can be the same. And this also helps. The wood is super dry. It's really thirsty. So we don't want to have bleeding between the colors once we start painting. Just like you saw when I applied the Crayola marker right now. So I haven't quite decided. The sage, I'm going to use some shades of green. The lavender, shades of purple. And the white, I'm not too sure on the white. I'm sorry, the vanilla. I'm not too sure if I should go with a cream or a white or a buff, or I really wanted to work with that light blue color, but a vanilla candle with a blue container, receptacle, it doesn't really go. All right, I got those down. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit them again with the dryer. Okay, we're going to work with this sage one. Still feels a little wet. I mean, it's okay. We're just going to be doing some blending with the colors. So I'd like to go ahead and use, this is Deco Art Americana. It's a satin, multi-surface satin, and it is, the color is Cactus. And for the shading, I'm going to use Deco Art Americana Lush Green. Okay, so I want this to be a soft color. Excuse me. I'll go ahead and set those there. I've got white bees at the ready in my container here. So I'm going to go ahead and get some ready in case I need them. Cut them into small pieces. Okay, this is fairly dry. I wanted to go ahead and show you. So when you outline this, there shouldn't be quite the bleed through that we had earlier, and you can already see that there isn't. And if I need to, I should be able to come in here and clean it up. With a wet wipe. And you can see that I got most of it off because it is water-based. That's the difference. That's the difference between this one and this one. This one I had not base coated. This one did have the base coat, so the wood took in a lot of the marker. Here didn't have the base coat at first. I used the marker. It took in a lot of that paint, so it left it there. Here it did have a base coat, so it had already absorbed some of that moisture from the paint. And when I went in with the Crayola marker, I was able to come in and wipe it off. That's if you would need to wipe it off for some reason. Excuse me. But basically, it's there to help you outline, to keep you, to keep your paint true, so that you won't go into this other area, which is supposed to be a cream color for the candle. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and I need to outline this one. Again, water-based, so when you go in with the paint, it'll just kind of blend in. So my intention is to go ahead and use this, again, this cactus color. I'd like to keep it a soft green, and I'm going to use some of the glazing medium. You want more glazing medium, basically 1 to 3. So 3 parts glazing medium, 1 part paint, and even probably that's too much, because I do want a soft color. I'm just going to come in with a little skewer and mix that up. Okay. I like to reuse these, so I do clean them with the wet wipe as soon as I'm done with it. And set it off to the side because I'll probably be using that again. And I'm going to go ahead and use a sponge for this. So get one from my caddy over here. So it's just a cosmetic sponge. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it down. So you get a lot of use from one. And we're going to go with that. Dab off. It's really soft. That was my hope for these candles, to have the look be really soft. You want to be careful with the cosmetic sponges that you use. You want them to be really compact. Not, of course it's a sponge, so it's porous, but you want it to be compact. There's a word that's escaping me. Happy with that. I just wanted it to be really soft. Thinking of, you know, creating a relaxing mood. Just a really soft color. I do like how that outline right there looks like it's shading, and okay, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to check the sides. Looks pretty good. For the lavender, okay, I'm going to give that a little bit of time, and then I'll come in and shade around the edges. So for the lavender, I have these two colors that I'd like to use. They're both apple barrel. This one is lavender sachet, fancy, and this one is royal violet. And I ran out of them, so I had to pick some up. From Walmart. Come on, little guy. Thank you. And again, we only need a little. And the reason that you need the glazing in there, I'm going to use the same sponge and the same plate. We only need a little bit. And the glazing medium, I really am using too much paint here. You don't need that much. I'm going to mix that up. The more color you use, the more opaque your paint will be. pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and snip off that green little section right there. And now we're ready for some of that, what was that again? Lavender sachet. A little sachet, a little package, I guess. You put in your unmentionables drawer with some lavender in it to give a nice pleasant fragrance, I suppose. A little sachet. Alright, here we go. Okay, I should have hit this with, well, we can do it right now after I get this first coat on there. Should have hit this with the little sanding. I can see some of the green has been raised. And as long as you don't have too much paint, you don't have to worry about those score lines because you put that glazing medium in there. And that's the idea for it, really. Just, you've still got the color, but it's nice and muted. It was already a soft color to begin with. And I'm just tapping in there really lightly. I don't know if you can see how the grain has been raised. Yeah, I think you can right there. See, there's little pieces of wood. So I need to hit it with the little sander. So I'm going to do that in just a sec. Nice. Oh, look at that. Looks so good. I just love, I mean, those are the colors that I was thinking. So, all right, now we're going to go in with the vanilla. And I mean, I guess, gosh, I guess we're gonna go with what I really wanted to do was a blue, was shade, get these to be accent pieces and do accent, meaning accents to the colors that we're primarily using in the set, which is brown, black, and white. And so I want to use, but the light blue, the lavender, the sage, so shades of blue, purple, green, but a vanilla candle with a blue. Let's do it, right? Let's do it. That's what I wanted to do. Let's just do it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use that same little area, really just a small dab will do you. And get that mixed up with the medium. Okay, that should be good. I'm gonna snip that off. Get that line. just helping me to stay away from that white area there. Okay, here we go. We're doing it. Of course, in my mind, when I think of vanilla, I think of a cream color, white, but we're gonna use our just creative license to come in here and get this to be more of the shade of blue, which is what I want to go with as accent colors for the entire collection. Oh, I don't think I told you the color of this particular blue, but I'll do that in a sec. I'm really liking it. Everything looks so soft. Thinking of relax. It seems like it's a cool gray undertone on this one. Okie dokie. So there's that little color story that I was going for. Ooh, I love it, I love it. All right, and so I'm gonna hit this again. It's pretty, I was gonna say it's pretty dry, but no, it still feels a little wet. So I'm gonna hit it with the dryer. And we're going to hit it with a little sanding. So this is a little zip sander. It's the mini zip. Just smoothing this out, getting those raised fibers off. I'm going to clean up with a little wet wipe. And I could always come back and do a little coat with lavender if I need to, but I think they're okay, they're good. And the other thing that I was going to mention was the color of that blue. So it's an apple barrel and it is sky blue. Okay, so for the accent on the sage, I want to use, I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. We should be done with this for now. The accent for the sage, I want to use this darker green, which again is Decor Americana Lush Green. And I'm going to set this off to the side, but I want you to know I like to reuse my plate, so I will clean that off. I like to use a little painter's tape to keep that in place. Alright, we're going to go with this, and we just need a little bit. Excuse me. And I want to use an angle brush to do the shading, so let me just find one that would be a good size. And so this one is, I'm guessing it's a 6. Okay, this is, just one of those cheapy brushes from, it's not my favorite angle brush, but that's the one that I found right away, so, from Hobby Lobby. Alright, we're going to get some paint right on the toe of the brush. Kind of work that into the edge, getting the water to flow pretty nicely. You need a little bit more paint. Okay. I think that should do the trick. I'm going to go ahead and dry it so we can see what the finished effect's going to look like. If I need a little bit more. You know, I'm not thrilled with that. Of course, you can see that it's kind of left a watermark around the side. So I wanted to hit it. It's still wet, but I'm not thrilled with the, I think I picked a brush that's a little bit too wide. So it gave me that long area of shading. And this color is pretty dark. So compared to the base that was there, so I'm going to come in with that light color again. It's got that glazing in there. And we're going to hit it again. Initially, I was hoping for like a brushed effect, meaning like a suede effect, which is kind of what I'm getting. It's all the dabbing. What it does for you is it's lifting paint in some areas and leaving darker areas. So what I really need to do is kind of wait for it to dry so that I can see exactly what it's gonna do around the edges. but I am liking the effect here. It's giving it again that look of soft suede that you want to rub. Think of those ceramic, not ceramic, I'm sorry, those glass candle jars that have some translucency. The glass is usually cream colored and it's got that effect of being translucent, so it's really soft. Okay, I'm liking that a little bit better. Remember, this is the lighter green. It is the cactus, and it's got the glazing medium in there. So it's, if I want to have that effect come across, I need to do several layers because it's really transparent. Okay, so we're gonna come in. Well, I need to give it a little bit of time to dry up. I like the edge along the top. I know because I use that marker. It looks really good. I like the shading here on the side. So I think, again, my mistake was learn from my mistakes, do as I say, not as I did. And I need a smaller angle brush. I could also use a wipey to do some shading along the edges, but that was just what I went with. Alright, so we're going to wait, give that a little bit of time to dry. And we're going to come over here and we're going to work on the lavender. So with that one, we're going to go with that royal violet. And I'm going to try and be a little bit more strategic with that. I need a small angle brush. Come on, baby. Show me where you're at. You can also use a round brush to do your shading. It's just that I'm used to using the angled brush. Here we go. Another, so this other one was a 6. This one, no number. But you can see he's in comparison. Big difference. So we're going to get some moisture in there, get that wet. Okay, we're going to come in with a little toe. Work that into the bristles. I think I need a little bit more water. And I'm going to use the mister for adding some water there on the side. I usually like to use a well for dirty water and clean water. I just forgot to get that. Alrighty. So we're going to come in here to the edge. I'm liking that a lot better. And you can walk that shade. It doesn't have to be one long swoop. You can just walk little areas. And if you don't like it, you can come back and take some of that off with a little wet wipe. You can also use your finger and get some of that off. I'm actually happy with it, so. And I'm just working the paint into the corner, into the little toe there of the brush. And so what's happening is the water is wicking all the way through, and I just touched that with my finger. So that means I took some of the paint off likely. Okay. Big difference, and work that again. Want that a little bit darker up there, so I'm going to go for it one more time. Excellent. Gonna let that dry. Okay, I'm gonna come back to the, it's got too much moisture there. Okay, so for the blue, we'll work on the blue shading now. So for the blue, I want to go with, it's Admiral Blue. Admiral Blue. Jeez, doesn't want to come out. Admiral Blue. Admiral. Salute. Salute the Admiral. And that was Apple Barrel as well. So again, and I have some moisture on the plate that I spritzed it earlier, so I could always come and get some of that from there. Alright. And we just need a little bit on that toe right there. It's a really saturated blue, so here we go. Look at that. Oh, it looks good. Nice. You see, sometimes it's just paint, wasting paint because I don't need all of that paint. I'm going to come through one more time. Loving it. I kind of want to round that a little bit. Look like the corner's a little sharp. Excellent. I'm gonna do that here. I keep saying excellent and perfect, and then I look at it again. That corner looks a little sharp. There we go. All right, happy with that. And we're going to come back to the sage now. I'm going to hit it with the dryer. Clean that up a little bit. Get some moisture in there. And here we go again. I'm just picking up some water droplets from the side there because I feel like I need a little bit more moisture. And here we go. Definitely what I needed. So the issue at first was that wide brush. It was just too big of an angle brush. And it's looking like I wanted. I want a little bit more shading on that top. There we go. Alrighty. So what I'd like to do is come in and get a vanilla colored, like marshmallowy color in there, in that area where the candle should be. So I think I need to go into my stash of paints and find that. So give me a second. Okay, I also pulled out because I forgot I didn't get any colors for the flame, so we need that. And so I'm going to use, for the vanilla area, I'm going to use Toasted Marshmallow. It's an apple barrel paint. And we don't need much. Now remember, the this color's saturated. It doesn't have any glazy medium in it. And I just need a small detail brush to get in there. Well, probably not a detailed brush. Something with a little bit more, a few more bristles. So let me see. I swear I find it so hard to throw brushes away because I feel I might be able to use that. I'm a big fan of trimming up a brush if I need to. Okay, this one's good. And I'm just going to use the paint straight. I'm not even going to add water. This does have base coat, so it should be ready to accept the paint without too much bleeding in there. I'm just going to go ahead. This is going to be underneath the little flame. And I think it just brightened it up, which is great. But I want to add a little bit of white. I'm not thrilled with the color just by itself. And I think we're going to need to do a little bit of splatter in there to give it that little vanilla bean look. That should look nice. So I don't want to do away with the cream color or marshmallow color. But I did want to brighten up and show a little bit of contrast in there. And I think that's pretty good. I know you probably can't tell, but it's giving it a little bit of dimensionality. The contrast of the white and the marshmallow color. So now onto this one. Add a little bit of white. And back to the marshmallow. Now, I don't think it's safe to use the splatter. Yeah, I think I need a little bit more of that marshmallow in there. Okay. I was saying something, but it escapes me. Oh, the splatter. I don't think it's going to be safe to use splatter because I really don't want it over here in the receptacle in the jar or container. I only want it in the area of the actual candle. So I need to think on that. I guess I could use a piece of tape, tape it off. I think this one needs a little bit more white. And then I put too much white, so I need to come back with the marshmallow. Okay. I'm liking that, liking it. And I'm going to go ahead and hit these with the dryer. Pretty good. I'm going to get a wax paper out here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and do this splatter, and I'm just going to, it should be really quick. I'm going to get some painter's tape. And just mask off that area there. And move these off to the side. Just lightly set it there. And I know I have a toothbrush here. Okay, I'm going to get this wet. It should be clean water. And this water I have been using, it's fairly clean though. And I need to use, or I want to make it look like vanilla bean. You know, those little flecks of the vanilla bean that are in there. I'm going to use this area of the plate. And this color is just brown oxide. And you want the bristles to be wet. Just kind of tap it in there. And we're going to just, with our thumbnail, flick. I'm doing a little test, a little practice there. And I did what I didn't want to do. I should have covered that up with another piece of parchment, but it should come off no problem. Yeah. Okay. So we got some flecks there. I would have liked a little bit, a couple of little areas. With a little bit more pronounced dots, but it'll work. You know what? I'm not thrilled with that. So I'm going to come in with the wipey. And I'm going to come back in with the brush. I'm going to repaint this because I'm just not happy with it. That's the beautiful thing about paint. You can come back in and make an adjustment. And the reason I'm not happy with it is I think that the flecks are a little bit too small. And there's too many of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can make it happen with a little bit more paint, less water. So notice that I didn't dip it in the water. We're going to try that again. And I'm just testing it. See, I'm not thrilled with the splatter part here. I think it's just way too it's just too many. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I want the splatter to be the circles to be a little bigger. Not so I'm gonna do it from a little bit higher vantage point. I'm going to clean my thumb off while I get the tape on here. So if you don't, at first you don't succeed, try again. Now this time I am going to cover with another little piece of parchment because I don't want to have that issue. And I'm going to try that again. I'm going to do higher and get some paint on there. Okay, here we go. Like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. I know you probably can't tell, but I can see that the dots are a little bit bigger. I'm going to reuse that tape. See if you can get a good shot of that. The dots are a little bit bigger. Come on now. All right. It's making me crave some vanilla ice cream. I don't know about you. Okay. So a little bit higher on there. Oh, forgot to put the paper. You probably, were you yelling at me? Did you tell me? Okay. Here we go. Now we're going to do this one. Here we go. Excellent. We got it, we got it, we got it. We got it, we got it, we got it. Okay, it looks like I also smeared paint a little bit. Unintentionally somehow, of course. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the blue. One thing also about the glazing medium is that it's going to keep your paint moist, which is really nice. It won't dry up as quickly on you. Alright. And I'm going to come back in with that gray marker kind of to outline that. Somehow I got some of the marshmallow on there with the paintbrush. I'm sure that's what I did. Alright, I'm happy with that. And now we are ready to tackle the little flames. Okie dokes. So for the flames, I just want to go ahead and base coat with a little bit of red spice. This is Decor Americana. And then come in with some highlights of Sunny Day, which is just a yellow apple barrel Sunny Day. You know, a flame has so many different shades to it. So it's got reds and it's got oranges, and I may decide to add some red. We'll see once we get in there. Once we get into that little flame, I'm going to go ahead and get the red out just in case I need it. So I'm just going to use Flag Red Decor. I'm sorry, Apple Barrel. Oof, way too much. Alright, and for this, because the area is so, the little flames are so small, I am going to come in and use a detail brush. And I was using one earlier. I don't know what I did with it. It's one of my favorite ones to use. I may have taken it to wash. I really thought that it was here, but... Alright, so we're going to come in with the little flame. And we're kind of just adding a little bit of... I'm going to show you my technique for small pieces. And this is just a little block of wood. And what I use is my tape runner, which is double stick tape, my mega runner. So I just kind of go on there, get some adhesive on there. It already had some, so I reused the blocks. And what's nice is that it's going to hold the little small pieces in place while I'm painting, and then when I'm ready to pull it off, it's just as easy as taking off tape. So here we go. I kind of want to get the darker part of the flame down here. Just want to make sure I've got the little pointy side of the flame. And kind of get some striations of that darker in there. And then come in and get some red in there. Not too much. And then mixing it with the yellow, we're going to get some shades of orange, of course. Oh, love it. And you know, with flames, you even have white in there that gets in there. It's just a mix of colors. They're beautiful, mesmerizing, right? I am going to come and get some white. Get it in there. And come back in with what's that again? Red spice. Spicy. Just kind of blending it all in. A little bit more red in there. The idea is you don't want it to be just one solid color. You want it to be a variation, just like a flame would be. Okie dokes. And I think I want to add a little bit more white. Go. All right, I'm happy with that, and we're going to go with that. And so I'm going to glue that up on the candles, but first I do want to come in with a little bit of wax on these. So let me grab that. Okay, so I'm going to apply some wax, which is just a finishing wax. This is a Bear brand finishing wax. Get it at Home Depot. And the reason I want to use it is, well, one thing is it does protect the wood. but it's not like we're doing a piece of fine furniture here. So really the whole reason for come on, little guy. The whole reason for getting this on here is because I like the sheen that it adds. So I'm just using a little microfiber towel, and you can use a little piece of cotton fabric, and you're just going to go in there. And there's another reason I'll share with you in just a bit. But so, and all you're going to do is go in there and rub it on there. It adds a little bit of a sheen to it, and as I mentioned, I wanted these candle jars to have a little bit of a translucency. I mean, if at all possible, which it isn't because this is wood, but well, there's probably a way, maybe some kind of master painter out there would be able to do it, but that is not me. But I think the sheen is just a nice little touch, and I don't know if you can see it, but let's see if you can get that a little bit closer. It adds a little bit of a sheen, and I like that touch. So just rubbing it in there. It does seal the wood, seal the paint, it protects, which is great. Oh, I didn't want to add, I'm going to glue the little flame there, so I don't really want to add there. This is the clear wax. They have one that's a brown stain, a white one. I don't think it's coming off on camera, but I can see it's just a little velvety sheen to it. And another reason is that I'm thinking about adding a little bit of a transfer on here. I'm not sure yet. Whoops. Butterfingers. And the wood just loves this stuff. It eats it up. Just soaks it in. I'm thinking about adding, let me show you a little transfer. So, and that's it. I mean, it's no, nothing complicated. And you don't need to do it. They already looked great as it was. So, looking good. I was thinking of adding a little bit of a pattern on here with a transfer and some chalk paste. So I was looking at some of my transfers, and this looks blue, but it really is a teal. It looks blue on the camera here, but it's really a teal. So I was thinking of adding some leaves as a little pattern here, maybe on the bottom or on the side coming up. So I don't know. I don't want, of course, the whole thing on there. I just wanted a touch of leaves. in like a white, just a little touch. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do it now, but if I do, I'll go ahead and post it and share it with you. But that's what my thinking was behind that. So the wax helps so that I don't peel up any of the anything from the wood. Really protects the transfer so that no paint and stuff peels up on it once you bring it up. But for now, we're just going to leave it like that, and I'm just going to glue the little flames on. I'm going to need just a little bit of glue. This is the Type On Quick and Thick, and I always heard about that from the ladies at Peach and Valley. And you know what I just realized that I did? I painted the wrong side of this little flame. One of them is supposed to go this way, and the other one goes the opposite. Why didn't you tell me? Were you yelling at me this whole time? Veronica, you're painting the wrong side. This little flame looks like it's really on fire. Of course, don't leave your candles unattended. I'm just getting some glue on there, very, very little. Here's your sage candle. And this little flame, see what I mean? I gotta paint this side. So I think I'll do that quickly. Just need some white. Go ahead and use the heat tool on this. And add a little bit of glue. I think I need a little bit of yellow in that flame. brush needs a little cleaning, so hit it with the wipey there. And that's the thing, once you start getting trying to build up the layers, get a little bit muddy. Okay, I like that much better. And there you have it. So get that out of the way. Your vanilla, lavender, and sage candles. I think they look fantastic. So if you have any questions, any comments, please hit me over on Facebook. You can also, The Crafty Ladder, or you can send me an email to veronica@thecraftyladder@gmail.com. And thanks so much. We are going to work on the keys next. Oh, you know what? I wanted to go ahead and get these. That's what we've done thus far. Oh, don't they look good? So I love it when a plan comes together, don't you? So home colors white, brown, and black, and then the accent colors will be the sage, the blue, and the purplish, the lavender family, or purple family. So a shade of lavender there. So I think they look fantastic. Again, send me any questions, and when you complete your set, please share a photo with me. I'd love to see what you come up with. I mentioned that I wanted to do a black and white set and then one with yellow, and so let's just see all of the different combos that we can come up with. So all right, thanks so much. Bye.